Imagine striving for higher education, only to find yourself intentionally separated from your peers once admitted. What kind of learning environment would that create, even if the books and professors were the same? McLaurin versus Oklahoma State Regents set the crucial legal precedent that states could not constitutionally provide segregated educational facilities for Black students within a public university, even if those facilities were deemed physically equal. This ruling significantly eroded the foundation of the long-standing separate but equal doctrine. The core mechanism behind this decision traces back to the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. For decades, the Supreme Court's ruling in Plessy v. Ferguson from 1896 had allowed racial segregation under the condition that separate facilities were equal. However, in the case of George McLaurin, who was admitted to the University of Oklahoma's graduate program but forced to sit at a separate desk in class, eat at a separate table in the cafeteria, and study in a separate alcove of the library, the court began to see the inherent flaw in this logic. The court recognized that such segregation imposed by the state itself prevented Mr. McLaurin from engaging in the free exchange of ideas and discussions fundamental to a graduate education. It impaired his ability to learn his profession and to interact fully with his peers and professors. Therefore, the separation itself, regardless of physical equality, created an unequal and unconstitutional educational experience. This meant that states could no longer enforce segregation within their public graduate schools. While not directly overturning separate but equal for all education immediately, McLaurin provided clear legal grounds for challenging segregation in higher education. It essentially demonstrated that, in an educational context, separate could not truly be equal. This ruling, along with the earlier Sweet v. Painter case which also challenged segregation in law schools, highlighted the concept of intangible inequalities. These were the less visible, non-physical aspects of education, like the ability to network, participate in discussions, and gain a full professional experience, which were denied by segregation. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP, strategically targeted graduate and professional schools first, understanding that the arguments against segregation here would be more compelling and serve as stepping stones. The ultimate benefit of this precedent was its direct contribution to the landmark Brown v. Board of Education decision just 4 years later. McLaurin made it unequivocally clear that true equality in education demands more than just comparable physical resources. It requires an environment where every student has the unrestricted opportunity to learn, interact, and thrive alongside their peers, without the debilitating burden of state-imposed separation.